Hey everyone, welcome to another scene in Living World of Darkness, Mage the Ascension. Today's scene, we are going to be back at Mount Sinai Hospital, where Maggie's been kept, although we're going to be in the cafeteria of the hospital. Um, Aiden and Ken got probably kicked out by some doctors, so that way they can run their daily tests and whatnot. Um, they've taken to hanging out a little bit more outside of calling cops on serial killers. Um, so I assume Aiden probably bought Ken some kind of late dinner or something.
Ken does not object to this. Um, when he eats, man. Like, it is almost disturbing the way he just becomes a vortex of food consumption. You can tell that he may be someone who has lived on a regimented schedule for a while because
Mm-hmm.
he seems to just be cramming and mixing foods for the sake of efficiency.
Okay. Huh. According to the normal average, you actually ate 15 seconds faster than normal people would.
Dude, do you literally. Oh, that's right, your phone does it right.
Yeah.
You and the time thing, man. I mean, to me, time's become nearly meaningless, but you, a lot of fixation.
Well, I think time is a really good thing to keep track of.
That's one way to look at it.
I mean, after all, it is our way of seeing whether or not there has been change. I mean, sure, the only reason we have time is because anything changes, and the fact that something is now means that it was something before.
I prefer to view it as cyclical.
That's fair enough. I can definitely see the merits in that.
Yeah, certainly. Though I am curious. Your end of the job, this thing, as far as I can tell, it pretty much got accomplished. Why keep coming back here?
Hmm. Well, we still have somebody that is in trouble, and he'll get kind of quiet and say, "I don't. I think you and I both know that doctors aren't going to be too much help. And I mean, I don't know if she can pull through it herself. I definitely hope she can, but it may come time for us to. Well,
Don't.
no, I mean help her, not that. I wouldn't
Alright.
go to that as easy.
Well, time will come when the time will come. It's a little, beyond me.
Around this time, Aiden will hear his phone start to buzz. He's getting an email, but there's no sending address.
Okay, that's weird. Aiden's gonna tilt his head and open it up.
There is a copy of a news article. The news article in question is written in German, but underneath it is a translation. detailing the arrest of a ring of human traffickers found in Berlin.
Huh. Was this one his doing?
The article indicates that they were tipped off by an anonymous source and they couldn't locate it afterwards. Underneath the translated version of the article is a simple text that says, "Congratulations, Farseer." And, interestingly enough, there is a symbol beneath it. Let me just pull that up. This symbol, specifically.
Okay. Huh. Alright.
Anything interesting?
No, I don't think so. Just a thank you email for some work I've been doing lately.
Oh. It's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, tell me, does this symbol mean anything to you? And he'll flash Ken the symbol.
Given Ken's previous dealings, does he recognize this symbol?
Make me a wits roll.
Will do. One success out of 10.
You vaguely remember having seen that symbol before, yes?
I've certainly seen it before. Can't really peg it down, but I don't know why, but it's familiar to me.
You know the sound that your phone makes when you take a selfie? It makes that sound.
Oh, yeah, no, Aiden gets kind of weirded out. He was like, looks at Ken and he's like, that, I did not take that.
It's your phone, man.
Yeah, and he's gonna probably check out to see what's going on with it, because it took a picture by itself.
Okay.
Do I need to roll
There.
intelligence computers?
Sure. There doesn't appear to be anything outwardly wrong with it. At a first glance.
Depending on the diff, which I assume was higher than 6?
He will notice that when he opened the email, a program downloaded.
Okay, time to check out what that program is.
It's simply titled contact.exe.
Okay, that's weird. He's gonna probably run a quick diagnostic on his phone to see if there's anything wrong.
Sure. Is it a particular type of diagnostic or just the standard virus scan?
It's a standard virus scan. He's not going like full ham. Um,
Your phone detects no malicious software.
okay. Just in case, Aiden's going to pull up his primal sensor on his phone. I.e., he's activating Prime Sight, but his version of it.
Okay.
While he does that, hey, Aiden,
Yeah.
just to satisfy my curiosity here, can you see what your phone just took a picture of?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and check that out, too. This was my role for activating Prime Sight.
Your primal sensors detect a fleeting bit of primal energy, but it's quickly leaving. Or
Okay.
fading, as it were.
As if, of
As
course. Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
As for the picture, it is just a picture taken from the front-facing camera of the phone. Depending on the angle you are holding it at, it may have caught some of your head, some of your friend's head. Let's see. But interestingly enough, most distinguishing features were cut off.
All right. Sweet. All right. With primal senses, is it? Can he? Is there the? Mm, okay, I'm just gonna ask this out of character because I can't really. I'm not sure how to say it in Paradigm. Are there signs of magic being used?
Your phone completes a scan of the area. Everything appears relatively stagnant. The only thing that your phone points out to you in particular is that executable file that you were sent.
Okay. Then yeah, he'll he'll look at Ken until. Well, firstly he'll say the phone tried to take a picture, but it wasn't any distinguishing marks caught on us, so that's good. But for now, let's keep it somewhere where the aim is away from us.
I hear pockets work.
That's true.
And he shows one of those wry little grins that someone who is bad at jokes and does not normally try to make a funny has when they think they have in fact made a funny.
Oh, you did kind of make it funny.
Eh,
Yeah, so unfortunately, since he can't really slip it into his pocket, what he's instead going to do is going to drape a napkin over the camera. Um, and he'll check out that file. Better or for worse.
The file takes a brief moment. It informs you that it's currently unpacking some things, preparing to initialize process. Your phone releases some sort of calming music as you wait.
I didn't have this song on my phone before.
No, you didn't. In fact, you've never even heard it before. It's just kind of oddly calming. But your primal sensor is still up and it doesn't detect it as inherently anything more than elevator music.
Okay. Fair enough.
Smooth Tracks, Volume 3.
But afterwards, what is in there is a simple text document with several layers of firewalls all around it. The document is labeled hello.txt.
Okay. He'll tap his phone. Well, I guess tap that document to bring it up.
And included in the text file are several links to news articles that you believe may be related to your following's activities as of late. Some of them more successful than others. And, beneath is a few lines of text. You've accomplished quite a lot lately, haven't you? And then a prompt for you to enter text.
He'll pick up his phone and then he'll just. Well, he won't pick it up. He's keeping the napkin on the thing firmly, on his camera firmly. But he'll just type in, I suppose. May I ask who this is? Send.
Typing. Somebody who appreciates your work in making the world a better place. Smiley face.
Well, as much as I appreciate the thanks, I don't think it's necessarily needed. But that was a great way of vaguely answering my question. Who are you?
Typing. No longer typing. Typing. You can call me Dr. Gray. Typing. I've noticed you were giving back a lot to the world. Perhaps using some newfound genius you didn't think you had. Smiley face.
Wouldn't say it's genius. Just a good rig and a good connection. Nothing to it.
Typing. I see. Typing. I'd like to reward you for your hard work. If you'd not be adverse to it.
Depends on how. Send.
Typing. Your work is noble, but very difficult to accomplish with a high success rate, all by yourself. Perhaps some allies, a partnership, or acquaintances. Your choice.
With you or with someone else? Send.
Well, you can meet me. If you like what I have to say, there will be others.
I mean no offense, Dr. Gray, but I believe we all know what people say about meeting someone over the internet that you barely actually know. Send.
Is there anything I could do to make the experience more comfortable for you?
Unless you have a way to make... Unless you have a way for us to really understand each other that quickly, I don't I don't think so.
Sensitive information is best discussed in person. Firewalls can only do so much.
If we're going to do this, then I'd prefer a public place. Lots of people, lots of cameras.
That sounds perfectly reasonable. Anything else?
No, I think that's good. Any way for me to distinguish you from the crowd?
Typing, typing, typing. I will have a suitcase on the table in front of me. On it will be this symbol. Does that work?
I think that's fair enough.
Excellent. Smiley face. And then he will be forwarded a Google Map link and a time.
He'll look at it, nod, and he'll look at Ken and say, I know we may not be particularly close at the moment, but think I can ask a favor of you?
Really depends on the favor.
I'm meeting up with somebody, and I'm unsure of their trustworthiness.
You've been chatting, or at least I think you were chatting. It's a lot of typing just to make a memo with, indicated by you, a stranger over some sort of internet connection after your phone's been acting up, and your first response is to meet with this person?
Well, let's put it into perspective. They were able to hack into my phone.
Once again, given the, there's no gentle way to put this, level of techno-fuckery you and yours are known for, that's not a comforting thought.
It's not. Which is why it may be a good idea to see this person face to face where, you know, just typing isn't as... Just typing isn't as... How should I say? Where someone can't overload my computer and kill me in my own room?
As someone who's been personally beaten into a coma with baseball bats, this too is not very comforting. But he lets that hang for a second. I do owe you. So we're going to go.
Alright. You don't have to physically be there and be close. I don't want to throw you into the line of fire like that. Just, if things start looking bad, pull me out.
That I can do.
Alright. Thanks, man. And, I think after this one, I think we can call ourselves square.
Oh, we still have part 2 of the whole situation to address. But it's a good working relationship.
Yeah.
And with that, Ken, as long as everybody's done with what they're eating, Ken brings the trays back to where you're supposed to deposit the trays. After, of course, ladies and gentlemen, getting rid of the trash and even going so far as to collect little detritus from the table and wipe the table down.
All right.
Interesting notes on the journey there for Ken's part. The second they get outside of the 15-foot radius that by some city laws you have to be outside of a door in order to light a cigarette, that's exactly what Ken does.
All right. Aiden, for his part, when they jump in, Aiden's forward focus about to leave. Um, Aiden's going to exchange all of his identification with his alternate identity identification. He's not sure who he's going to meet, and he's not sure what he's going to have to do when he gets there. So, yeah. Um, Ken is more than welcome to smoke in the car as long as the windows are rolled down.
Ken is cool with this.
Yeah, like that's really the only concession he has to make. But yeah, other than that, they are on their way over to this location.
The location is a Starbucks on the corner of one of the blocks in Queens. Nowhere particularly out of the way, honestly. It seems the person had chosen an extremely public place. The thing that you will notice upon walking in is that the place is as busy as these coffee shops tend to get, except one half of the room, there are no people sitting there. Just one woman in the back corner with a briefcase.
Um, Ken, before they go in, looks at Aiden. All right, you go in first. A few minutes afterwards, I'm going to go in, and judging by the window space, I'd say that you and I have our seating sections cut out for ourselves.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm going to stand out here and have another cigarette like a good law-abiding American who can't smoke indoors anymore. Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
I'll be in shortly.
All right. And so Farseer is going to go ahead and walk on in. Kind of look around like he's acting like he doesn't see her at first, then, or them. I'm sorry, he doesn't know the gender of Dr. Gray. He'll look at them, smile, and I suppose he'll stroll up to them. Is there any kind of obvious gender for Dr. Gray as he walks in?
Oh, Dr. Gray looks like a woman.
Okay.
There's definitely no steps made to, change that.
Okay, because out of character, I know how you roll. I wasn't sure of this.
Know me so well.
All right, but he'll walk up to her, and he'll say, "Dr. Gray?"
Yes, that would be me. She smiles and extends a hand. It's a pleasure to finally get to meet you.
You too. He'll shake her hand, smiles.
Does Aiden have any awareness?
Yes, he does. There's one, unless the diff was higher than 6.
You sense something slightly off about this individual.
Unfortunately, Aiden doesn't want to be rude and start pulling out his phone and stuff, so he can't really use his foci at the moment. So he'll just he'll keep it in mind, but he can't really run any kind of scans just yet. And oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I hope my introduction wasn't too strange. It's just difficult to get a secure line of communication in a phone call or by normal means.
Well, all fairness, it could have been worse. It could have been, well, a rather illicit picture of something. So it's not that high in the strangeness ladder.
Fair enough. Please take a seat.
All right. He'll go ahead and take a seat.
So, I've received reports, but it'd be interesting to hear from you yourself. What are all these projects you've been working on?
Um, just some pet projects of mine. Nothing too crazy.
See? Any reason in particular? You've taken this upon yourself?
School was easy. So, just was tired of sitting around school, just being bored all the time.
That's fair. I understand how boring it must be to have to go through all the years of schooling with a mind most would consider gifted.
Eh, wouldn't say I'm particularly gifted. I'm just kind of me.
Oh? You've accomplished quite a bit. More than most of your age bracket can say.
Well, my age bracket has other priorities. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for that. But it's just something I've taken to doing.
I suppose so. Well, you've definitely caught our eye.
Whose are?
Oh, well, excuse me for not being more forthcoming. I represent an organization that takes the safety and well-being of humanity very seriously. And the things you've been doing really put you on our radar.
I mean no offense, but there's a lot of organizations that exist for the well-being of humanity, or say so. To which do you refer to?
She smiles. Uh, for myself, I represent the Gray Suits. I understand it's not a terribly widely known organization.
Mm-hmm. I'll kind of nod. Is it too much to put two and two together, Shelby?
What is 2 and 2?
He's heard the word black suits before. Um, he also knows they're associated with the technocrats. At least that term or phrase is.
Of logic, you can assume it if you want.
Okay, fair enough. And then I'll just say, yeah, you guys aren't super well known. And I suppose it must be hard to get people.
Occasionally it can be. We really only aim for the brightest that we can find, so our drawing pool isn't the largest. But
Well,
that's why I wanted to reach out to you. I feel as if you and I could help each other.
How would that be exactly?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I don't know you very well, admittedly. But you've proven fairly talented at finding information, which is definitely something we always need help with.
But what do you use the information for?
It largely depends on the nature of the information. For what you've been digging up, actually, some of our operatives have made use of it to shut down those sort of rings. In a way, to protect the more moral and upstanding citizens from those who would sink to such lows.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I suppose that kind of activity should be at least seen as universally reviled.
Indeed. My jurisdiction, of course, extends only to this part of New York City. But they have told me they've requested you by name that I come speak to you. Makes you fairly important.
Out of curiosity, which name did they use?
She will actually pull out her own phone and check it. Ah, I see. Simply the screen name.
Probably do a perception empathy on that.
Okay.
There's two.
She's not lying.
Okay. Main thing Farseer was trying to do at that point was to see if they had his name yet, like his real name. But if it seems like they don't at the moment, then he'll kind of relax.
So at the moment, I don't know if you've noticed it, but well, all over the news, this area's kind of a bit of a mess. And I'm the one that's been assigned to cleaning it up.
Mess with what, though? I mean, New York City's kind of a mess.
Crime in general, our city still has like a horrific homelessness problem. I've heard there's been several unexplained assaults on the street lately.
Well, that's true.
And a lot of these things stem into leads that show a very dark underbelly of the place if you really look.
Oh, well, that's New York City for you. It has admittedly had a very long history of crime.
Indeed. And it's really been hurting the place.
So what, your goal's to clear it out?
For the most part. To speak a bit more frankly, uh, Ken, are you eavesdropping?
I can certainly try.
Okay.
If you require a roll, given where he's seated, that is perfectly fine. If not, then meh.
Oh no, I just wanted to know if you were eavesdropping.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's totally eavesdropping. He's learned his lesson about looking directly at the person thanks to Maggie Keller's antics, but
You will
I mean,
notice,
hmm?
while eavesdropping, you will notice that her voice has grown very muffled. You can't quite hear it. It's almost as if she was whispering through a windstorm. Aiden, you can hear perfectly clearly. And if you'd like to roll awareness, please feel free.
Yep, sure. Shall I roll
Ooh.
awareness as well?
This is a botch, so I'll assume that Farseer has absolutely no idea that anything happened, and that everything's absolutely fine, and that Ken can hear all of this perfectly.
Two
Basically.
successes on my awareness roll.
Kin, a thing happened.
Okay.
A thing that you can recognize as magic with a K.
He frowns.
She'll just continue talking. To put it more frankly, my division specifically operates in dealing with more supernatural troublemakers than with simple petty criminals.
I'm sorry, supernatural?
Yes.
What, do you mean like meth that was a little too strong?
Would you like to roll your manipulation subterfuge?
Yeah. Lols, no. Lols, no.
Is there any particular reason you may be lying to her? Anything that a tick or a twitch might reveal?
I suppose that one thing that he would be... Basically, he doesn't want to let on to Dr. Gray that, he's a weirdo that either thinks or, in this world's case, knows that the supernatural is a thing. Oh, I think they dropped.
Yeah. And we're back.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Did you miss pretty much all of what I said?
Yes.
Okay. To answer your question, would he have any particular reason to be lying? He doesn't want to let on the fact that he thinks, or in this setting's case, knows that there was a supernatural element that existed at all.
She sort of nods when he says this. Pulls out her phone very quickly, sort of writes something with her finger. And she puts it away. Listen, this is a song and dance that I've had to do many, many times with people we've taken interest in. If you wouldn't mind, nobody can hear us.
Oh, but that's where I disagree. Someone can hear you. Someone can always hear you.
He will tap her briefcase. I can assure you I've taken measures. Nobody will hear anything we don't want them to hear.
So,
I'm not looking to harm or imprison innocents, if I must clarify that. I'm looking entirely for those who are actively hurting others.
And who is actively hurting others. Because, yeah, human traffickers are definitely some of the shittiest people you can imagine, but I think you're talking about something a little different from normal people.
That's what I'm asking for your help with.
I'll look and I'll think a bit, and he'll say, as appealing as it all sounds, Dr. Gray, don't get me wrong. I mean, no disrespect to you, it does sound like a very interesting offer. But I'm getting that gut feeling that there's something not clicking here. And all due respect, this does sound a little good to be too good to be true.
Of course. Is there anything you had specific questions about?
Who would your group be going after specifically? And since you called me out, and I suppose I was wrong to try and get a little too evasive, I'd like a bit of directness from you as well. After all, you said no one can hear you. Or us, rather.
Let's see. Who would we define as hurting people? There are many, many ways to hurt another person. At the moment, I'm looking either for those who would look to endanger the public through reckless abuse of their skills, or those who are actively seeking to enslave or physically harm those who do not deserve it.
People such as?
People who are just trying to live. Think of your average person, and those are the ones that I'll be protecting. Students, parents, families, accountants, you know.
He looks like he's thinking. He's trying to. He's very much picking his words carefully at this point. And he'll say, so, you're a general, centralized group of people that aren't that well known, and your entire purpose is the general benefit of everyone by going after just bad people, not really having a particular focus.
As I said, our particular focus is supernatural.
Right. Any particular group?
No.
So just all of them.
Yes, precisely.
Now let me ask this. Are some of these supernaturals bad for the things that they do? Or are they bad for the simple, and he'll put up air quotes, unforgivable sin of being supernatural in the first place?
She thinks for a moment. To be perfectly frank, we regard their very existence as a threat. But it's not logical, it's not smart to go after somebody who works at a grocery store and just so happens to be special. The only ones that I really am concerned with are the ones that are actively hurting normal people.
Okay.
Whether or not there are innocents among them is a point that can be debated, but those quote-unquote innocents are not the ones that I'm targeting.
Again, thinking very heavily, very hard on this. He'll say, as much as I appreciate that method of thinking, I'm afraid that the thing that I can't agree with is finding all of them such a threat. Now look, I don't claim to know much about them. I'm not sure I want to, but they've never interfered in my life. And if they interfere with other people's lives, then I or you or someone else will handle it. As much as I appreciate the offer, Dr. Gray, and it's not one that I simply dismiss lightly, I think I'm going to have to decline.
Very well then. Would you be interested in hearing what we may be able to offer you in return? Or would you like to end this meeting now?
What would you have?
Considering the very dangerous jobs that our field agents often are sent on, she smiles a bit, we can boast some of the greatest healthcare in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, we can also offer our protection and plenty of information.
But protection from the others or protection from you?
I'm not a mafia boss, Farseer. I'm not threatening you. But if you were willing to work with us, well, it would give us all the more reason to be far more tolerant.
Yeah, that was just a blatant threat, wasn't it?
What's that?
That was perception empathy. That was just a blatant ass threat, wasn't it?
Not so much a threat, more like acknowledging that you are on very different sides. Willing to overlook that.
Okay.
But with 2 successes and one of them being a 10, you do feel like she's trying to manipulate you.
Yeah. Yeah. Upon kind of recognizing the manipulation tactic, I mean, he's not going to get mad. Kind of had an idea what this was going in. But he'll say, well, in today's America, what with Cheney being president, healthcare is nothing to sneeze at. But tolerance, that should be a universal thing. That shouldn't be a part of the deal.
She'll nod.
Then again, as wonderful as it was to meet you, that is an excellent hairstyle, by the way. I suggest keeping that. I think I will have to, again, politely decline. Again, I mean no insult to you or your organization, but I don't think it's the right fit for me.
She smiles a bit. I understand. It's not common for your lot and your friends to have differing opinions. Glances over at Ken, glances back to Aiden. If I may leave you with my phone number.
Well,
If
alright.
you would want.
That's
Or if you would like something more temporary, please feel free to give me a call. And she will produce a business card.
he'll take it and he'll nod and thanks and smile again.
As I said in our email, you're perfectly safe here. If you wish to leave, nothing will follow you.
Understood. Well, thank you again. And it was very nice meeting you. And he'll stand up, smile at her again, and start to walk on out. Kind of getting Ken that glance that, like, be time to go soon.
I mean,
Have a
Ken,
lovely. And she will smile, wave to him, and go back to playing Candy Crush or some other thing.
Ken, for his part, having not been looking at the dynamic duo while this was going on, and not having been able to actually hear most of the conversation, he does eventually notice motion and that it's Aiden leaving. But much like when he came in later, he is not going to leave at the same time. He still thinks his little ruse worked.
Yeah, Aiden's going to be kind of watching at this point. Probably looking he's going to be making sure that she doesn't do any funny business with Ken. Just because Ken did him the solid of coming for him, and he's not just going to leave a brother hanging like that.
In the span of time that it takes before Ken decides to leave, just like any other paying customer, after their coffee's been finished, does anything occur?
Nope.
Okay. At which point Ken leaves and makes his way towards wherever Aiden is hanging around. So,
That was definitely something.
what did it turn out to be?
She called herself a gray suit.
That is not hardening.
No, it's not.
Tried to make a deal with you, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they tried the same shit on me a while back. Fortunately, however, I'm a monk, not a hitman.
Yeah. I'm not about extermination.
I'm glad we can agree on that.
Nice. So, homeward bound? Or wherever you want me to drop you off at, since I assume we're still not at that level where I can know anywhere where you stay. Which is understandable.
I need to walk for a while. You do whatever you're gonna do.
Well, do you at least mind if I get you a little further away from here? Just in case there are people following us?
If there are, it's probably better we split up.
Maybe.
Trust me. And he looks at all the various ledges and things that you can grab onto and climb that are around the city. I got this.
Alright. If you run into a problem, go ahead and hit me up. I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can and help out.
Sure.
And thanks again. This favor was a big deal, and I appreciate it.
It's no problem. And with that, Ken puts a cigarette in his mouth and starts walking off.
Yep, and then Aiden's he's gonna jump in his car, and he's gonna drive for a while. He's not going anywhere in particular, but he's definitely driving places for a long time. Making random stops that he probably doesn't need to make. I don't know if you need me to roll anything to see if someone's following me.
Oh, you're not being followed.
Anything on Ken's end?
Nope.
Okay.
Alright. And I assume since no awareness roll was prompted, there may not be anything to sense?
Not really. If you'd like to make alertness or awareness rolls, you're more than welcome to.
I'll make at least awareness just to see what's up. Whew! Yeah. If there was anything, there's nothing.
One of my best awareness rolls to date.
Aiden feels perfectly safe. Ken, while you don't feel the same creeping feeling of things going on in your immediate vicinity, for some reason you just feel weird and it can't shake off.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll probably run one last, at least a quick primal diagnostic on his phone. Oh gosh. Um, yeah, there's one.
The phone detects no anomalies. In fact, the file that you were using earlier has deleted itself.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, so after about half an hour and a half, 2 hours of just unnecessary driving, he'll probably stop. And he's just going to lean back on his chair, exhale super deeply, rub his forehead. Okay. Well, that was fun.
Ken, for his part, takes the long way all the way down to the noodle shop, and if they're still open, that's what he gets to eat.
And as the two have finally departed, after having an interesting meeting with their more formal mirrors, I believe this is a great time to call it a scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And just remember, corporate loves you.